Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the Bird is the word event in which Prince Esquilla is added into the game. As you guys know, the new kingdom came last Friday on PC and mobile, and I'm going to be going over much of the new content that came with that, as well as just a bunch of teams for the new kingdom. So let's just briefly go over the new troop real quick. The yellow-blue arcanes that it gives, you'll definitely want to get. They're only 200 glory each this week, which is your cheapest they can ever be for purchase by glory. And you use this mainly for Knight Coronet, Astral Spirit, and Princess Esbeth as far as trading troops. Those three would have the highest priority. As far as this troop, isn't anything too amazing other than the fact that it is currently the only troop that has the Light Storm ability, but just deals damage to an enemy, and if that happens to die, all allies gain 5 attack. A little bit too high of a mana cost. Knight Coronet in most instances will be stronger than it. Naga Slayer is basically useless because there's barely any Nagas, and the only thing he really has is good, that's Holy Armor on his last trait. But I would say definitely don't trade him right away. There are plenty of other better ones to go to. So one other thing that ended up coming out before we go and open all of our keys, if we go under to Hero and we go over to the classes, there were 3 new classes added today: the Death Knight class, the Oracle class, and the Titan class. I'll be using them fully traded later tonight in a stream at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be doing a video on them later as well. I won't be really covering them yet because each one of these, like all classes, when you get 250 wins on them, they will unlock a weapon, and that means I need to do 750 wins, or all of us do, if we want to get all 3 of them, and there's no way I'm doing that today. It'll most likely be done on Thursday, I am aiming for, so I'll be able to show all that then. And if you just click on them, it shows them what where you get them, but you can, it's these 3, Golvania, Stormheim, and Divining Fields. Once you have completed the quest line there, all you have to do is just go to the quest, and there'll just be 4 battles that you do afterwards, and then after you do these 4 battles, you will unlock the new class, and as soon as you get 250 wins on that class, you will unlock the new weapon for each of the classes. So let's go now and open up a bunch of event keys. I do want to get the new legend up to Mythic, so that is the goal right now. So I'm basically just going to keep dropping these until we do. It should be relatively easy to get him since he is currently the only legend in the drop pool this week. So every legend that we get as a drop will be the new Garuda. I also need to make sure I get a couple Tescas, but we most likely will. So let's just keep track. We have 2 of him now. Definitely, if you want to try getting him, this is the best week to do so. Okay, I don't need to worry about Tescas now. Now we just need to make sure we get this new legend to Mythic. So we still need 4 more copies. Make that 3 more copies. Come on, let's keep seeing them. 2 more copies. Come on, almost there. Before we reach the end of our event keys. And there we go. That should be enough. Should I go for 1 more? I don't really think we'll ever need 2 of them in a team, but we have the keys. We might as well throw it. And there's okay, well, we have more than we'll ever need now. Okay, so that works out nice, and there we go. Let's go and over to the Suncrest, and while we're here, let's go over each of the new Suncrest troops very briefly. The Chupacabra, it's basically just a beast counter. Deals damage to beasts, double if they are, or deals damage, double if they're a beast, and a 10% chance to devour a beast. Pretty good value for 9, but it's only ever going to be used against beast. If the enemy has no beasts, then he's pretty much useless to try using. He has twice as much damage to beast, and he has stealthy. Pretty good common, but you're only ever going to use it against beast. The new legend that just came out, this thing, is pretty nice. It has Firestorm on its ability and ends up hitting all enemies. So anything that hits all enemies generally tends to be relatively strong because there isn't much counters to it as of currently, but it summons a Firestorm, which is, of course, makes more reds fall on the board, then deals damage to all enemies, and then gains 1 magic boosted by red gems on the board. For every 3 red gems, he will gain an additional magic on top of that. What's really nice about this is since he has Firestorm, he's naturally going to be putting more reds onto the board anyways. His first 2 traits are pretty useless. Actually, in general, all of his traits are relatively useless. His legendary trait is just to give 5 life and 5 attack to all Strixes, which is the new class type, or the new troop type added from the most recent kingdom. Overall, you don't really need to worry about his traits, but he definitely has a pretty solid ability, so you would definitely want to get him for that purpose. Hironaf will just be used within the context of armor buffing teams. Pretty standard armor buffer. She also has a Leaf Storm on it, which can be synergized with exploding troops. And as far as traits, she's just a full-out support as far as what she is. She's pretty tanky, relatively low attack. This Jaguar Warrior, haven't really found too much use for him yet. He gains all of his life back whenever he gets a kill. This is somewhat useful, but for earlier on in the game and for Arena, I could see him being okay because you don't normally have too many red-blue options around that area, but he just deals damage to an enemy. If the enemy dies, he heals back to full and gains 8 attack. So it's kind of average-ish. Traits are pretty bad other than the fact that he has a agile on him. The Owl Lift, currently the only thing that can cause a Dark Storm, which means more purple on the board. He also decreases the stats on random enemies, or on all enemies, by a random stat, by its magic divided by 2 plus 1. So pretty decent. It's kind of like a little mini Plague. It's basically a smaller version of Plague that's a much lower rarity. He has Cursed, which reduced their stats even more, and he has Magic Spirit, so he'll get even more reduction, probably 1 or 2 more reduction, depending on how many purples you have on the team. Next, of course, is the Event Troop. I just already went over that. He's mainly just going to be used for Storm. In general, I do find him to be relatively weak. Other than his Storm, I don't really think you're going to be using him for much else. And once the color version of his troop comes out from the Guild Wars, I really don't see this troop being used really at all, because Knight Coronet will be used if you want more damage, and the Guild Wars troop will be used if you want to Storm. So he's pretty much just going to become obsolete unless you really needed him first slot, in which case you'd maybe go for him because he has the armor. But then if you compare it to Knight Coronet has higher armor anyways. This one is the Sliff. It deals its attack as damage, randomly split among enemies, boosted by brown enemies. This doesn't really have too much of a purpose unless the enemy happens to be using a lot of brown on their team. If they're not using like a 3 or 4 brown, then it's not really worth it. The main purpose I could see for her is on during Guild Wars. Once that starts up, using her on your brown defend day might be pretty good. I have a feeling they're going to start adding a lot of troops that can start countering specific colors, and she is one of them. Kind of average, but especially since the AI won't use her as well when the computer plays it, but she still has a purpose. And of course, the epic that you can get for free just from completing the kingdom gives an ally life and attack, cleanses them, and if they are red, if they use red mana, it then gives them 3 magic. Kind of average, a pretty decent buffer. There's not too many of the green purple variety that can get a buff off. As far as her traits, it's nice that she has Arcane, because every single one of those magic is an additional life and attack for the target that you use it on. So it is an okay buffer if you need to get a high amount of life and attack on a troop. Particularly good if they have Stone Skin or higher reduction. Anything that can reduce down skulls in first slot and then just keep buffing them up will work out pretty nicely. And that is all 8 of the new troops. And you'll definitely want to try getting some of them, get like some of the Kingdom Stars on the Kingdom. Getting it fully maxed out, which isn't too viable, does end up giving you an additional attack. Of course, from leveling the Kingdom all the way up with gold, you do get the 1 attack. But if you happen to max out all of them, which is a little hard to do, especially because that Chupacabra, you do gain an additional attack. And that'll become easier once they add more troops. So let's go into a couple teams now that we've gone over all of that. So let's go right over to PvP and throw down all 3 of these teams. We're going to be doing, I'm not going to be covering absolutely every single troop that has come into the new kingdom, but I'm going to be showing a couple various teams, just using some of the stronger ones, as well as just this one, because I did want to try something with the new event troop. But in general, I do not find this guy to be too viable into the future. He's definitely has many replacements, but he does have 50% this week, and of course, 50%, anything that ever gets 50% is generally pretty decent on that given week, even if it won't be in future weeks. So right here, pretty bad options as far as things to take off the board. I do want to bait out a skull, so we'll just do that. It's Granite Skin versus Granite Skin right now, so neither of us can really benefit from skulls, and we do get our alignment, so we can start getting this team rolling. One thing to note with every single storm in general is it is really good to use a max exposure. Generally, you'll see me when I show teams and stuff, I'll put a Gorgotha or a Gorgoltha or a Dragon Soul into the team, but you can really go with anything that can do multiple explosions. I just choose those two as they tend to be the stronger of all the explosions available currently. But the main reason for this is once we get a nice board clear like this, there's a pretty good chance that all the gems that fall, if it'll either give us at least a pair or it'll quite often give us an extra turn as well. So let's see if we can get that now. Of course, we still have the storm going. And nope, of course it's going to keep proving me wrong for the video, but it does have a much higher chance that you would get an extra turn whenever a storm is occurring, since a lot of that color will fall when you do the board clear. So let's see, is that enough damage? Yes, 37, so we can get the kill here, and that will give us 5 attack to all allies, so a total 20 attack gain right there. And we still have the storm going, nothing I can really use it for at the moment. He's not going to board clear or anything either. Can't take any browns, can't take any yellows, surprisingly, even though we have a storm going. So we'll just throw down this storm, get some damage off. You can see that he ended up getting the revive there, so it's almost like we just restarted the battle, except him using Ancient Horror instead. So we'll try fishing for some of our mana. Doesn't look like anything's really on the board at the moment. And we don't use... what color don't we use? We don't use purple, but we do deny it off of our Mercy, like right here when we can do it right off the top. And that'll give us the mana we need for our Gorgoltha. We don't have the yellow storm anymore, but we do have the red one, so hopefully we'll get the last of the new Legends mana. And nope, gosh, misses again. A lot on the board, but didn't actually land it. Watch, he'll probably land it the first time. Let's see. Nope, wow, we're both missing. Both of us getting pretty bad luck on that, but he gives us a pretty good board right there. We can just use all the reds, take the skull, use the ability again, and as I said earlier, he does boost based on how many reds are on the board. Every 3 gives him additional magic for that, so he can really start to stack out quite a bit of magic if you can get him casting a couple times, which is really nice. No place for the Mercy. That would be ideal right now if we could. We could do a kill with this, but there's currently no threat really up. Except for the Giant Spider if he happens to get mana here somehow for free. But he doesn't end up doing it. We get the extra turn, and that, due to all of the magic buffs, that is enough to kill them all out. Unfortunately, gosh, he got the possession on, or he got the revive on the Gorgoltha, then the possession on the Dragon Soul. He just does not want to go down, and our blade is not enough damage to take him out. Nor will this cast, I don't believe, will be enough either. And we don't even get enough mana. We can take that, though, for the last of it. There should be a few damage off. Yeah, it's only 46. So we'll throw this. Hopefully that will be enough. After we do... I'll go to play it safe and do a Gorgoltha after this, just in case it revives again. Hopefully it doesn't. Let's see. Good. Okay. So it did go down. And nope, we missed our turn again, but we did get a lot of mana out of that. You can see, filled up every single thing on the team. We ended up getting his cast up again. That would have been like 51, 49, somewhere around there. Some kind of 50-ish damage to all enemies at that point. Really starts getting pretty big after a little while. And let's see, what do we have here? A little annoying. Double Famine, Death, Famine. What do we have next? I guess I could do that, mainly because I have Fairish Ra in here. You can do this without Fairish Ra. We're going Gorgoltha, Dragon Soul, Owlith, and Fairish Ra. You can put pretty much anything that is a blue-purple in the last slot. I'd probably say Queen Mab would probably be the best choice if you happen to have her and you don't have a Fairish Ra. But we're going to be doing it with this. We have the Purple Storm, which will allow the Fairish Ra to get a lot more purples, which will hopefully mean more alignments for him and easier cast. We have the stat reduction. He's going to be stat reducing us. Or, never mind. Yeah, he can only stat reduction first trip. I thought he had a Plague for some reason. But, let's see, I kind of want to keep those there. Generally, of course, like any Dragon Soul team will want to be going for our Dragon Soul as quickly as possible, as that's what's mainly going to be getting our team rolling. Going to get some greens here just in case we don't explode enough, because I really do want to get a Purple Storm onto the board, or Dark Storm. I keep calling them just by their color, just so it's easier to tell. But yeah, this one does create more purples. We'll be able to do that off of Gorgoltha, or actually we might not be able to. They keep reducing down our magic on our Gorgoltha, which is a little bad, because that's going to leave us to the point where we won't really be able to use him. Let's see. Okay, I will do it now. We'll get our 15 reduction on all of them. We don't really hit anything too important other than the attack, so now he won't be able to do attack as well. We only have 3 explosions because they took it all the way down to 0, so I might as well not even use my Gorgoltha. So we'll just throw a purple here and just Dragon Soul explode it. We still have the Dark Storm going, which will allow for more purples to drop, and will hopefully fill up our 3 purples. If not, it will definitely give us a pretty decent alignment for our Fairish Ra. And as I said, there we go, alignment for our Fairish Ra. Our Dragon Soul was feeding the souls we needed for our Fairish Ra, and we can just cast it out. And there we go, good to go. And we'll get some mana there, some more mana, good, good. Okay, and we'll just explode that out then. We still have Darkstorm going. It's actually been our turn for a little while now. Maybe we can get another Fairish Ra loop. Yes, we can. Good. And we can just keep singling them out like this with the Darkstorm. And it works out pretty nice. We can just keep going between, ideally, we can just keep going between the Dragon Soul right back into the Fairish Ra. Can we get alignment there? Wow, double purple in a row right off the top, but nope, no alignment. So we'll throw this down. Hopefully we get lucky and get another purple extra turn again. Perfect. No alignment though. We do get a pair, but that's not an extra turn. Oh, should we just throw it? Yeah, we'll just throw it, I guess. So we'll throw it on the stronger one, and yeah, there we go. It's pretty much matched right there. We could try for stat reduction. Don't really need it at this point, though. Oh, if we had Fairish Ra up right now, that would be great. That would have been alignment. Oh, well. Let's see. There we go. Well, that worked out anyways. Okay, weird Cascade, but that will be the last hit that we need to kill him out with the Fairish Ra, and there we go. Nice use of a Darkstorm, and we do get some stat reductions from it, but because of its lower mana cost of only 10, I mainly end up using it for its Darkstorm, because even when they add the Guild Wars purple troop, he will still have a lower mana cost than that troop. So if you're looking for just to get a Darkstorm, which is pretty good, purples tend to be pretty strong on the board, so the fact that it can do a Storm for only 10 mana is pretty good value. And it looks like someone's still doing a Bombot team from last week, but I think I will, should I still throw it down? Hopefully it won't go for Browns. I do want to show the power of this team though, so we might as well do it against something like this. But we'll throw this down. Dragon Soul, Heronef, Rowain, and Setite Warrior. This is one of those teams that is set up to only need every single troop to be casted once in order to team wipe. Even on a week, I was testing this last week as well, even on a week where you don't have bonuses on her or on anything for that matter, this team is still enough to one cycle through every single troop and destroy the enemy just with that. We just go for the Dragon Soul first, of course, which then feeds us our mana. We use our armor buff. We then use the Setite Warrior on our Rowain, and then that Rowain just team wipes for the rest of the damage. And you'll see that'll be the exact thing that will happen as well right now, hopefully. So we use our Dragon Soul. Ideally, we'd get mana on her, and we do. This will then give us the Leaf Storm, which will create more greens onto the board. This works really well because we are using 3 green troops right here. I will waste a turn to go take some more purple mana though, as I do want to get our Dragon Soul back up. We won't even need it. Well, actually, yes, we kind of do. So we'll Dragon Soul one more time. We'll cast it twice instead of just one cycle. I was hoping we would have gotten full mana on our Setite, but we did not. So we'll go buff this up so we can do so. Now we'll do the order. We'd have another Dragon Soul too if you wanted to take a couple more souls, which we might go for. But all we have to do now is just cast the armor buff. We'll get the Leaf Storm, and if we really wanted to, we could Dragon Soul into that, and that would give us any greens that we would be missing. We want to do it in that order, but he'll just kill himself on that one Bombot, which will do some damage to us. I think it's only going to be about 10, so it won't really get in the way of us too much now. It was exactly 10, so we'll take our skull, use the Setite on that, and then we just use Rowain, and we're good to go. And of course, we could Dragon Soul one more time if we wanted those extra bit of souls, but we'll just Rowain it, and there we go. Pretty easy kill, and that was like, what, 190-ish damage? Somewhere around that general ballpark. If you put both her boost and her magic together. So yeah, quite a bit of damage, really nice cycle, and you can just keep Dragon Souling to get all those greens. She does a green storm, and since all of them use green, they accumulate all of their mana pretty well. So that is a general overview of everything that was added today and from the Friday's New Kingdom. If you guys have any other questions about any of the troops, any teams for any of them, I will be going over some more in streams, and you could just leave them in the comment section below as well. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.